Jesus is stripped of his garments. We read about this in John. This is our meditation for the 10th station. Quite literally, we see then the body being divested of its clothing. A way to humiliate is to take away someone's armor, someone's protection. In the very way that she was stripped of her garments. She's 9 years old. Her name is Fanti Kim Phuc. This is the 8th of June, 1972. The clothes are literally burnt off her back as napalm rains from the sky. She's 9 years old. What did she do? I think we can interpret the station this way, and we don't compromise its reality or its complexity. The rest of the story is that this 9-year-old girl will grow up to become this woman. This is a photograph of Joe McNally in 1995. Fanti Kim Phuc and her son Thomas. You know that napalm charged her left arm and back in 1972. 7 months later, peace. She says, as a teenager, there was just one thing I wanted, to wear a short-sleeved dress. Well, why didn't she if she wanted to? She was ashamed and humiliated. Yet, she chose to bring a new life into the world that did this to her. What kind of woman is she? An image like this deepens our questions of who we are and how we survive in the world and hope to thrive through love. She is a role model for us. Fanti Kim Phuc. Jesus is nailed to the cross. We read about the execution and torture of Christ in Scripture, and we see this quite literally played out in the sculpture. We might imagine that that crucifixion continues today in Jasper County, Texas, where in June of 1998, James Byrd Jr. was tied to the back of a pickup truck and dragged to bits along a lonely country road. A modern execution, a modern way of the cross, a modern way of expressing fear, loathing, prejudice. His family makes the way of the cross whenever they walk down this road, recalling those spots where their father left bits of himself. Frankly, the horror of this is better realized this way than this. We've sanitized this. This no longer shocks us because we expect to see this. I don't know that we expect to see this. And that's a good thing. We should be able to address that which is unexpected. And we do that best when we're together. Jesus dies on the cross. This we see so often that I don't know that it has impact. What still impacts me is the thought that Matthew Shepard was beaten and tortured and left to die on a lonely deer fence in Wyoming. That we can steal our sons, our children away and leave them to die alone, crucified on fences. The 13th station, Jesus' body is taken down from the cross. Luke describes this for us. We see this literally in some devotional art. I think we see this here in one of the great masterpieces of Western art history, the Pietà. Nowhere is this recorded that Mary holds the body of her dead child. We only presume that she who was the womb for this child would also be unafraid to act as the tomb for this child as well. Womb and tomb theology. This also poses a riddle that we're unable to articulate, therein necessitating art in our lives. Some of you know the answer to this riddle. Perhaps others have not discerned it yet. Look at the image. What do you call a little boy or a little girl who loses both his or her parents? We have a word for that. They're an orphan. what you call a woman who loses her husband, what you call a man who loses his wife, what you call a parent who loses a child. We have no noun for that. We name everything so we can understand it, so we can control it. This is the one thing we cannot name because it's unutterable. It is unimaginable. And therein we rely for art to carry what it is that we cannot say ourselves. And we rely on this station to assist us. Lena Goodacre, a wonderful sculptor, gave the world this piece here for the Vietnam Women's Memorial. Where did she get her fine idea? She looks at our very station. She looks at our tradition, and she came up with, I'm sorry, I can't transition back. The 14th station, Jesus' body is laid in the tomb, accurately described, but more perfectly realized for our eyes. This is the work of Todd Heisler. Who you see is Catherine Cathy. She's playing a song on her computer that she and her husband James had planned to dance to at their wedding reception. James lies here, and she keeps vigil. She buries the one she loved and lost. In imitation of how those who love Christ buried him, so we see Catherine extending that same courtesy and love to the one who was most intimately involved in her life. She carries their yet unborn son as she vigils near her husband. The family together, one last time, in the presence of Christ, in the presence of the nation, in the presence of love. When I think of, in the back of my mind, what funeral home would extend this courtesy to she who grieves, and one yet unborn to be near his father one last time? The resurrection is our hope after contemplating this way of the cross, the passion and death of Christ. The believing imagination says the story does not end with the tomb. The story continues with the resurrection, which we celebrate through all the Gospels. We know this because we've received word of this. We have been told, much in the way that Martin Toller told his family that, tell all, I see them on the other side. It wasn't bad. I just went to sleep. I love you. You might know that Martin Toller wrote this on the back of a piece of paper that he took from his pocket as he was deep in the coal mines in Tallmansville, West Virginia. These were his last words to his family to let them know that death is not the end, that his own inevitable death deep in the body of the earth was not it, that he would see them soon and that he loves them. Love is our origin. Love is our constant calling. Love is our fulfillment in heaven. That is what we celebrate this day and every day. And this can be interpreted as the body rising. But doesn't that look more like our hope for new life rooted in love? I can't believe I'm going to show you this last one. But doesn't that look a lot like that? You all remember this moment when this happened. Vicariously, we took such pleasure in his victory. That man's victory became what got me to jump out of my chair and cheer. I felt better because of someone else's accomplishment. In a certain sense, this is how we feel then at the end of our station, feeling invigorated because of the accomplishment of Christ. I can't believe I'm showing this little stoner in church, but we wanted to end this on a joyous occasion because we are a people of faith, a people who hope and love simultaneously. Thank you for gathering together in a very alternative way of praying with your eyes, with your imaginations. I wish you all well this day, and please keep your eyes open as we move through our campus, and perhaps you'll notice someone praying their way from spot to spot, and we might be part of their journey this day. God bless.